Hey, Shalom, Shalom, when the staff souls by giving no praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. That belongs to the Apostle GMS and honors two brothers that are doing the work in truth while sincerity. This is just on the video Apostle Tar did on adultery in response to claims, because that's what they are, claims that Vocab alone quote unquote cheated on his missus, which what I'm gonna go through to this, scriptures, and obviously Apostle touched on it as well. I'm just gonna chuck my 2 pence in as well, is basically what adultery is according to the scriptures, right? So if in fact let me just get this scripture prepared while it's in my head. Right, because according to scriptures, man, a man can have as many women as he wants. He can deal with as many single women as he wants, right? And so basically, I'll just go through what adultery is according to the scripture, and then, like I said, basically show that the claims that are shown to, that are levied. I don't know what word I'm looking for, but the things that Vocab has been accused of doing aren't actually crimes, as long as those women didn't have boyfriends and weren't married or whatever, what have you. Right, so this is Deuteronomy 22 and 22 says, and if a man be found lying with a woman married to a husband, so a married woman, right, then they shall both of them die, both the man that lay with the woman and the woman, so shall thou put away evil from Israel, right? So basically what that's saying is, if a man sleeps with a married woman, that's adultery, right? And it says, so shall thou put away evil from Israel, because you look at now, right? Because these women know there are literally no repercussions, for them sleeping around, right? They know men are, ain't gonna try, deal with them, right? Because they know Esau will come knocking at the door and be on their side and protect them, right? And that's why we've got so much, so many niggas in the grave and niggas in jail because of these adulterous ass women, right? Because there is nothing there to stop them from, doing all this wickedness. Whereas if the law, because we can't keep this law in this kingdom, right? This law can't be kept in this kingdom, especially, when we go further down, in verse 28, which GMS always get in trouble for, despite the fact that it's just written plain in the scriptures, right? That's part one, right? So if a man has sex with a married woman, that's adultery, and they're going off, right? The scriptures say a man that committed adultery lacked understanding. Let me get a few as well, although I think I may have actually just quoted it all. Lacketh understandings, right? It says Proverbs 6 and 32, but whoso committeth adultery with a woman lacketh understanding. He that doeth it destroyeth his own soul. Because basically, you're going to be destroyed, man. That's wicked. You don't be, sleeping with another man's woman. Well, that's his woman. That's his property. He's all nutted inside there. He's all looked in her eyes as he's riding it and pumping it, right? This is verse 23. This is if a damsel that is a virgin be betrothed unto an husband, and the man find her in the city and lie with her, then ye shall bring them both out of the gate of that city, and ye shall stone them with stones that they die, the damsel because she cried not being in the city, and the man because he hath humbled his neighbour's wife. So thou shalt put away evil from among you, right? So basically that's basically the same thing as up here. But basically, you've got to have that clause in, because Jacob be like, oh, well, they're not technically married yet because it's not been consummated, because a marriage is consummated by sex, right? Betrothed just says he's promised a marriage to this man, right? So he's promised this guy, but Jacob be like, oh, yeah, well, they're not married yet, so yeah, I'll do what I've got to do. And that Papa basically just making it clear that that's off too. Right, and she's getting put to death because she was in the city and she didn't make it known. So basically, she was enjoying it. Right, it says verse 25. It says, but if a man find a betrothed damsel in the field, and the man force her and lie with her, then that man only that lie with her shall die. right? Because it says, but unto the damsel thou shalt do nothing. There is in the damsel no sin worthy of death. For as when a man riseth against his neighbor and slayeth, and even so is this man. So basically, she was just overpowered. And it goes on to say, for he found her in the field, and the betrothed damsel cried, and there was none to save her. Basically, she cried, and it was in the field. It was in the field, and no one heard her. So it was what it was. She had done no evil because she tried to stop it. She tried to get help. She resisted, right? So in that case, that's adultery, right? But a man having another woman, dealing with another woman, is not adultery. You look at the progenitors. I'm going to get an example here with Isaac. So with Abraham, the progenitors of Israel had multiple women. Abraham's an example, Jacob's as an example, King Solomon, King Solomon had 1,000 women, right? Right, so King Solomon, 1 Kings 11:1 says, but King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites, Zidonians, and Hittites, of the nations concerning which Yahweh saith unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go in unto them, neither shall they come in unto you, for surely they will turn away your heart from their gods. Solomon clave unto these. This is actually the point. The point was in 3. It says, and he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his hearts. Right, so he had 700 wives and 300 concubines, 1,000 women in all. Right, but he wasn't going off. Where he went off was the fact that he started worshipping their gods. Right, there's nothing wrong with having more than one woman. So if that's the accusation you're putting on Vocab alone, he's not done anything wrong. Right, it says Genesis 16:11 says, now Sarai, Abraham's wife, bare him no children, and she had an handmaid, an Egyptian, whose name was Hagar. And Sarai, right, this is Sarah and Abraham, right before their names were changed. It says, and Sarai said unto Abraham, behold, now Yahweh hath restrained me from bearing, because that's ultimately it. It's the Most High that openeth the womb of a woman. Well, it's the Most High that says that woman can have child or not. So when Esau goes around saying, "Oh, this woman, your wife can't have children," really and truly, it's got fuck all to do with him. It's all to do with the Lord. Right? There's been cases. I've seen cases personally where a woman's been told, "Yeah, you're not having children," and then they've had children. Why? Because it's up to the Lord who can bear and who can't, right? So I pray thee, right? Overall, my case was more, it's seriously unlikely that you can have children. An example that I have, right? It says, let me carry on. It says, I pray thee going unto my maid. So Sarah said, yo man, fuck my maid, right? It says, it may be that I may obtain children by her. And Abraham hearkened unto the voice of Sarai, and Sarai, Abraham's wife, Hagar, her maid, the Egyptian, after Abraham had dwelt 10 years in the land of Canaan, and gave her to her husband Abraham to be his wife. Right, it says, and he went in unto Hagar, and she conceived. And when she saw that she had conceived her by her mistress, or was despised in her eyes. So basically, Sarah said, look, man, I can't give you children. Do with my handmaid. And then she did. And then now Sarah was like basically started looking at herself as like, this bitch to do this, that, and the other. It goes on to say that Hagar then fled to the wilderness. So, Sarah was putting hell on her, right? So basically, like I said, that's another example. I gave you some more as well, right? So there's nothing wrong with a man dealing with more than one woman. There's nothing wrong with it. That's not a sin. That's not, right, so let me get this. This is Matthew 22:29. It says, Yahushua answered and said unto them, ye do err, not knowing the scriptures, nor the power of the Most High. Right, and that's true. These guys don't know the scriptures. They go off because they don't know the scriptures. Right, so let's say now Vocab's gonna be he's all oh man, I've sinned, blah blah blah, when he's actually done nothing wrong, right? This is another example. This is actually in the law, right? It says if you take him another wife. This is Exodus 21:10. It says if you take him another wife, basically meaning he can have more. It says her food, her raiment, and her duty of marriage shall he not diminish. Right? Basically talking about how, if you have more than one woman, you're supposed to, treat them equally. Well, you ain't supposed to, cut down her food, you ain't supposed to cut down her clothing, and you're still supposed to pop her. Why now, like I said, it's lawful for this to happen, but obviously in this kingdom, that ain't wise. That ain't the most convenient of things, right? And let me get this as well, because what people need to understand is actually sex that consummates marriage. Sex is marriage, right? It says Exodus 22:16 says, and if a man entice a maid that is not betrothed and lie with her, he shall surely endow her to be his wife. So basically, you have sex with a woman who's single, then that is your wife. So then you ask yourself, but all these women have had sex with one man, doesn't that basically technically make us all adulterers? And that is true, according to the law. If we are all adulterers, because there are no women that are virgins in this kingdom, right? But that's why Scripture says here in Matthew 16:4 says, a wicked and an adulterous generation seeketh after a sign, and there shall no sign be given unto it but the son of the prophet Jonas. And he left them and departed. But the point there being a wicked and adulterous generation, it is wicked. Well, but what you gonna do? And that's just all we have on offer. So, brothers, when you're dealing with women and that you ask them, have you got a boyfriend? They say no, then it's fair game. Right, because the thing is, especially in this kingdom, a woman's always got someone, whether it's in an emotional attachment, someone she messages, someone she fucks every now and then or whatever, what have you, and you need to really dig into it. It's a minefield, right? It's an absolute minefield. I remember one of the brothers basically just, he was just dealing with a chick, so much to the side or whatever, but that same chick would probably go around and say, look man, I'm single if someone wants to ask her, right? And then, but that's just the way of the world that we're in, right? So this is Hebrews 5:12 says, for when the time ye ought to be teachers, ye have need that one teach you again, which be the first principles of the oracles of the Most High, and thou become as have need of milk and not of strong meat, right? So when these guys are supposed to be teachers, but they can't get these basic things correct, right? His accusers, and like I said, if Vocab is feeling a type of way, he shouldn't be feeling a type of way if he did these things that are accused of him, right? If he did those things, that is, this is basics, man. Basics. You look at how the nation was founded, right? You look at, key people in there. They had many women, right? But these guys, they don't have the understanding, and they need teachers to teach them again, which is why the apostles of GMS, they're there to teach people who don't know. Right, and they obviously don't know, because like I said, that's basics, right? It says, and I'll become such as have need of milk. Right, milk, the basics of the scriptures. Right, but these guys wanna get into difficult topics before they even have the basic understanding of the scriptures. What, i.e., the Lord came to save Israel. That's a basic understanding. Right. And I'm going to finish on Galatians 5:9. It says, little leaven leaveneth the whole lump. Right, so these guys be going around talking, all these false doctrines, and then other people go. I mean, that's why, for instance, myself, I grew up thinking you can't have sex before marriage, whereas that's not even in the scriptures. I grew up thinking adultery was, me sleeping with another woman whilst I was with another. Well, then you actually open the scripture, you realize, wait, hang about. Right? You just end up with all of this madness being taught all around the world. You got man, putting burdens on people that don't need to be there. Right, so with that, Lord, will you were edified. Lord, will you have an understanding of what adultery actually is. And like I said, if Vocab did do the things he's accused of doing, as long as that woman was single, he did nothing wrong. Right? So that message should one.